the material world means nothing, and this whole really game of life exists in our head and our head only. And I got distracted. There's like a little snail right here. Look at that. He's vibing. Sorry. My fault. But yeah, let's get back to it. So today we're talking about the material world, and I think this applies a lot to social media as well, and what it's really done to us as a society, because not only does it make us care about, glorifying and romanticizing better parts of our lives into a construct of like an Instagram post that, when you look at it from like an outside perspective, it's like it's not a true representation of your life. And although it can be used to look back on in terms of like good memories and stuff, I feel like a lot of time people are just flexing or posting when they're on vacation, which when in reality their normal lives are just in school or working. And that's cool and all. Like I do it too. I'm not saying that I'm better than everyone just because I understand that this is like what goes on, but I'm definitely part of it. I've been part of the issue as well, because it's just so easy to get caught up in it. But I think the less you go on social media, it definitely helps you change your perspective on what really matters, because social media makes you very comparative in terms of other people, and like you start to compare yourself in your quality of life and the things you have. Sorry, a fish just touched my leg and I got tweaked out for a second. and the less you go on social media and you just spend time like not on your phone and just in nature and stuff, which is kind of what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're not even supposed to be caught up in technology or on our phones all the time. It's realistically, I feel like the times when I feel at my best self and I feel so at peace are times like this, when I'm just sitting in nature and not on my phone and kind of just living. And in doing so, right, I'm just completely alone right now, but I feel so rich, you know what I mean? Because I'm just alive and I'm able to witness this experience, you know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with the material world. I feel like God and nature are one of those things where that's connected to our conscious and heaven and this greater experience of life that exists outside of the phone and the matrix that we get caught up into on TikTok and all that stuff. Because a lot of that stuff is pushing as well that you need to get rich fast, you need to lock in this and that. But and while there is good content out there, I feel like there needs to be more content just telling people to just go live their life. And if you're happy and doing something that's meaningful, and I'm not saying something like happiness doesn't mean, oh, I'm doing something really easy that takes no effort. Like, you still have to struggle a little bit, but if you're doing something that challenges you and you find purpose in it and you keep doing it over and over again, right, then the money and whatever you want is just gonna come with that. The material world stuff just comes with doing something meaningful and finding purpose in it. But again, that's one of those things where if you're spending 4 hours on TikTok or Instagram every day, when you could be, that's time lost. Like, realistically, half those TikToks you're never gonna remember. You're never gonna look back on them. Just as quickly as you watch the video, it's gonna leave your mind. Like, these things are fleeting. They're very short term. And if you want to build, a life that's sufficient for long-term happiness, I think getting off social media is one of the first steps. That's definitely a big part of the material world, because it's either getting off social media or switching the type of content you consume on social media, because I am on YouTube and Instagram a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say definitely less than what I would traditionally spend, you know, way back in, like, oh my gosh, that dude just fell. The chair just fell, yo. That was really funny, sorry. So, if you switch the content you're consuming on YouTube and TikTok, right? Like, I spend still a good 2-3 hours a day on social media, but I'm just either listening to a podcast about spirituality and, you know, whatever I'm learning, like quantum physics, like that's what I've been interested in, you know, recently, just stuff like that. So, you know, I'm learning, and then my Instagram is all just content ideas and music video stuff, so that I'm taking notes and I'm saving all that stuff so I can look back on them later, which is something I actually do, as opposed to like just doom scrolling, looking at funny shit. Like, sure, it's, you know, I've been there, it's cool in the moment, you know, sending TikToks to your friends, but getting caught up in that loop when it's so meaningless, it's just bad that it's not even just the younger generation, it's everyone getting caught up in that. Whereas like living in the present, life is so much more fulfilling, and that's what we're truly meant to do on this planet. Before technology exists, like, how do you think people lived? You know, we gotta sit down and think about that for a second. Like, imagine yourself in like the 1800s, bro, without a phone. Like, you would be bored. You would have to go through periods of time where you're just sitting and you kind of just gotta think. Like, you wouldn't be stimulated 24/7. And, you know, when we have our phones, we're just, if there's ever a second of a sliver of free time, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just you pick up the phone, and then whatever time that you were supposed to be just bored and thinking, which inherently then makes things more fun, right? Because if you're sitting doing nothing and just thinking, then doing anything after that would just naturally be more fun. And that's how you can get better at bringing that inner child back out, because you can now enjoy things that were traditional. Like, maybe you enjoyed stuff when you were younger and now you feel like you don't enjoy them as much. You know, maybe that's video games or going outside and having a catch with a buddy or something, like shit as simple as that. Like, that stuff still could be enjoyable. You just gotta, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't on technology as a kid a lot. Like, I was always running around with my friends outside, and I'm super grateful to have done that. You know, because now I feel like my ability to just go and meditate and do all that stuff and be at peace and is attributed to the fact that I wasn't always on my iPad as a child, which is a concerning issue, you know, that we've seen if we have younger cousins and stuff, or if you're watching this and you have kids, like, you know, it's an issue, because the second you take the iPad away, all of a sudden it's like they start screaming and shit. So, you know, the more that you can like sit down and imagine the life you want and do something that's gonna actually get you there, you know, you have to start being that person that you envision yourself as, right? And then once you adopt those qualities of that person that you envision and the things that you want in that lifestyle, then you start to get there. But you have to practice just like envisioning that stuff in your head, because like I said, the material world doesn't mean shit. Like, when we die, all our money, all that shit means nothing. But our conscious and our soul, that's what goes somewhere. And the legacy we leave behind, which again has nothing to do with materialistic, you know, clothing and a house and cars, like that stuff, just, if the world ended, everything is fucking gone. Like, if there was a nuclear war, your crib, I'm sorry, Jeff Bezos, but your fucking $1 million mansion is gone, bro. And all that exists left is our souls somewhere in, you know, in heaven or whatever you believe in. But if you really think about it like that puts it into perspective for you, that you need to stop just chasing materialistic shit and trying to be with people all the time that don't give you fulfillment and are bad influences on you, because you're just wasting your life. Like, let's be honest here. And I know it's hard sometimes. There's another slug right here. It's a smaller one though this time. Look at this dude. I didn't even see this boy. Shit. I'm gonna move. It's that dude right there. He's vibing as well. Oh, there's another one. There's a lot of these boys here. There's this dude over here as well. He's vibing, type shit. But that's what I'm saying, like noticing these little things, bro. That's what life is about. Noticing these little boys just vibing. I don't even know if that's a slug, bro. Anyways, once you start to get off your phone and live in the present moment, and just go on some walks and shit, and just like observe nature and nice things that God has created, and then all of a sudden, like, you'll start to figure out who you are as a person, and you'll start to understand yourself. But that really only comes from questioning, like, because I mean there's three types of like people. Wait, I need to reframe this. Hold up. So we exist in three entities, right? So we're the observer of our own thoughts, right? Because we can be aware of the stuff we're thinking and the stuff we're perceiving, and then we're also being observed, right? There's that quality as well. Like, whatever higher power is out there is observing us, and we're also the ones who are just acting in this physical world, right? Because we actually have the ability to go and do things in the material world. So that being said, right, what exactly is up there observing the thoughts? Like, what is doing that? Like, it's so weird that we can be aware of our own thoughts, and if you never like actually like think about that, then you'll never like think of how weird it is. Like, we can be aware of our own thoughts, but we also can be in the present moment just living. But then there's also like, we're being like observed. It's really weird, because like God's like watching us at all points, and he's influencing our lives in a way that we'll never understand. That's the mystery of the universe. But I've kind of reached a point in my life that I didn't really, I've gotten close beforehand, but it wasn't the same. But I've like reached a point in my life where I'm not really fazed by anything that's negative. And granted, like, I haven't been through anything really bad recently, thank you God, but even just like disappointing shit, or like yesterday I lost $150 gambling, and I was just like, okay. And I just went home and went to bed, and it's just like, whatever. Like, I could have been upset about that, but is whatever. But that was just an example, you know what I mean? But it just overall, like, I'm kind of just vibing all the times. And there's this, like, if you've ever felt this, or you feel this in the future, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there's this like warmth. If you've ever been like off psychedelics or high, maybe you've experienced this to some extent. Or if you've ever been in the presence of like the Holy Spirit in church or something, this is exactly the feeling I'm talking about. But you feel just like warm inside your chest, and then that warmth vibrates throughout your bodies, and your cells feel like you're vibrating. Like, that vibrational frequency, that really positive vibrational frequency, is just a great feeling to exist at all the time. And that's like, I don't know if it's enlightenment, because in a lot of the videos I've been watching, like, they mention enlightenment and how like it just clicks, something clicks, and I don't really know if this is what I'm experiencing, but all the time now I just feel warm, and it's like a good warmth though. It's like I feel like I'm at home all the time, and it's like the best way to live life, because it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I think it's definitely attached to my mental as well, and like my psyche, and how just like at ease I've been lately. So if you guys ever can experience that and just live like that 24/7, because that's what I've been vibing on, you know, this whole summer. I just took the summer for myself, just focused on spirituality and creativity and making music, and I just do that every day. And I went out in nature, and I haven't been taking things for granted. I've been practicing gratitude, and overall it's just, the benefits have been exponential. Like I'm just content. I think content is a way better, because I think people equate happiness to just like that super high ecstasy feeling, but I think the better way to describe it is like just being content with where you are. It doesn't have to be this super magnificent high of happiness and you're just on top of the world. That's like not a true representation of how you're going to be happy all the time. I think the more neutral and attainable thing is just being content with where you are, and being able, like, if you're able to just sit and chill for a bit and that's good enough, then you know you're getting somewhere. But until you can do that and not think about your phone and not think about dumb shit and just kind of exist, like, you know what I'm saying, you got to work towards that. But yeah, like I was saying, just like practice envisioning the things you want and feel them, like really feel them. Like if you want to feel in love, like imagine yourself being embraced. You don't have to know who the person is, but being embraced by someone and being embraced by yourself, and feel that love. And then soon that love will appear in the material world, because like I said, this is like a game. Yo, the tide is low-key going up a little bit, y'all. This rock did not have any water on it before. It might be time. How much? We're at 17 minutes. Yeah, it might be time to say bye to y'all. So, peace and love. Go be great.